So the back and forth between Jimmy Haslam, city officials, county officials, it's crazy. It's like this big ass like letter war. Like, I'm gonna send you a letter saying this is what it is. Then I'm gonna go out here and make a statement, and then after that statement, I'm gonna send a letter out and tell you what it is. And it's getting kind of crazy. And last week, Cuyahoga County came out and said that they were not backing any plans to move the stadium to Brook Park, that they wanted to keep the stadium downtown Cleveland, and it was important that that was the case. This is, let me see if you can see this. So you probably can't see this, but this was the letter that was written by Pernell Jones Jr. and Chris Ronayne to the Hassam family, outlaying why they believe that Cleveland Brown Stadium should stay downtown Cleveland for generations to come. And Jimmy Haslam basically said that he wanted more information from the city. Well, yesterday, one of the local news stations here, Fox 8 News, put a little article out saying that the Cleveland officials has responded to the team's request for more information. It says the Fox 8 I team has learned that the latest developments in talks to determine the future home of the Cleveland Browns. The mayor's office tells us that the city has now responded to questions from the Browns about the city's offer to help pay for massive stadium renovations. City officials declined to give specifics on what additional information that the Cleveland Browns requested. One of the things that I found fascinating about this whole thing, and I'll play this video. So, of course, this is the video of the renderings of a possible Jimmy's World with a brand new dome stadium in Brook Park, Ohio. And one of the things that I thought was fascinating once the Cleveland Browns released this to the media was the city instantly clapped back, right? The city instantly came back and say, nice renovation plan, nice video and all that, but can you provide me with a layout of what, the plans look like for a renovated Cleveland Brown Stadium where you currently play on a lakefront? And from what I read, everybody from the Browns organization and the Haslams ownership group didn't have a comment, didn't have a video, didn't have a picture. They didn't have a damn thing that showed any renderings of what a renovated stadium looks like downtown Cleveland. And that just tells me because they don't plan on ever renovating a stadium downtown Cleveland. But, if you talk to city officials and you talk to people who are politicians in the city, they say that this latest move, it can really, really, deter the Cleveland Browns plans to actually move the stadium or to build a new stadium, should I say, in Brook Park. And it just got me to thinking like more and more, okay, where can we compromise at? Where can we meet in the middle? I think ultimately when this thing is all said and done, that Jimmy Haslam is going to get this beautiful thing right here, this beautiful space right here, right? And I think that the city deserves it. I think it's something that we need. It took me a while to come around to it. When I say it took me a while, I'm talking from the time that I actually had season tickets from, further back when I was a child. Excuse me, the whole nine. But I'm here now and I understand how important it is to have a facility that's attractive. I understand how important it is to have a facility that, the Cleveland Browns can rent out and use and that will benefit Cuyahoga County all across the board. But I'm also a realist and understand, like, what if we don't get to that point? What if we really end up with a renovation, downtown Cleveland? What could it look like? What are you willing to sacrifice? Based on the information provided, the current stadium, you can't put a roof on it. That stadium was rushed to be put together. So what type of renovations you can do down there, I don't know. Last week's episode, and I don't have the video here. I wish I did. I'll show you again. But I showed you a picture of a rendering of what the city of Cleveland believes, the renovations could look like at the current stadium, and also, do some shopping centers or plazas or whatever the case may be around there. You would just take out that parking lot, I believe, that's to the south of Cleveland Browns Stadium. Well, yesterday I'm riding into work and I'm listening to the radio, and I got to be totally honest. Like the city officials that were on with Kent Carmen and Anthony Lima for 92.3 The Fan, like they just sounded like old school traditionalists to me, right? Making every excuse in the world of why they felt like a stadium shouldn't be built in Brook Park and why it should stay downtown Cleveland. Instead of just being straight and saying, like, listen, you know, the city thrives off the stadium being downtown Cleveland. We would love to keep it part of downtown Cleveland. Let's just renovate it. We've renovated Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. We've renovated Progressive Field. We're currently renovating the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We can renovate this thing. We can make it pretty. We can make it work. And, tourists will come. This will still be an attraction. And that's something I really just don't think that the Haslams are trying to hear. And then one of the things he said before I was getting out the car, before I get to that, he was asked about, the stadium in Brook Park, and he goes, there's no guarantees, but maybe you get a Super Bowl once every 20 years. Maybe you'll get a Taylor Swift concert, so on and so forth. Listen, they build that stadium, ain't no maybes, and it ain't going to be no 20 years. We've seen the city of Cleveland have the women's NCAA Final Four. We've seen the Cleveland have the city of Cleveland have the MLB All-Star game recently, the NBA All-Star game recently. We've had the RNC here within the last 10 years. Things are coming to Cleveland. What we're trying to do is get more things to come to Cleveland. So I wasn't buying that at all. The other thing he said that I wasn't buying is that there is room south of Progressive Field to build a Cleveland Browns stadium. Where, Sway? Where? Y'all tell me where. Y'all looking at the picture just like I'm looking at the picture. If you look, this is a sky view picture of downtown Cleveland. I Googled downtown Cleveland sky view 2024. So this is as current as it's going to be. When you look downtown Cleveland, there is absolutely no space, place, or anything as such to put a stadium at, a brand new stadium at. And so this narrative that you can build a stadium south of where the Cleveland Guardians play at, I don't see it. Y'all see it, y'all dropping in the chat, y'all let me know, but I don't see it. Which leads me to the final point before we get out of here with this show. Let's say if it was a third option that presented itself, right? Let's say somehow, some way, we're overlooking a piece of land that's downtown Cleveland, right? That's something that, we just for whatever reason, like it's a misstep. We just missed out on it. Let's say there's a piece of land that's big enough to build a brand new dome for the Cleveland Browns downtown Cleveland, but you don't get the whole Jimmy World experience, right? You don't get, let me see what a video at. You don't get this. You don't get the plazas, you don't get the hotels, you don't get the shopping centers, but you get a brand new dome, and the dome stays downtown Cleveland. As a Cleveland Browns fan, how would that make you feel? Would you be cool with that? Would that appease you? Or do you want the dome with the shopping centers, with the hotels, the whole Jimmy World experience, right? Because again, I personally fail to believe that Brook Park or renovation currently where they are is the only two options that we have. The truth is, those are the only two options that's been presented to us. But give us a third option, right? I think we always like that third option. I'm one. If you could somehow, some way find a piece of land downtown that's big enough to build a dome stadium for the Cleveland Browns, and you don't get the attraction of the Jimmy World that come with it, I'm cool with that. Like, I'm absolutely cool with that, because the reality of it is, in this city of Cleveland, like, we travel damn near everywhere in Northeast Ohio. People go to Akron to kick it, go eat, come home to Cleveland the same night, and like ain't nothing happened. Every first of the year, right? Dillard's and Great Northern Mall has this massive ass shoe sale, right? People from all over the city be in Great Northern Mall shopping, and they take their ass right back home. I'm no longer buying the BS of Brook Park being too far or any of that, man. I just want the Cleveland Browns first and foremost to be a competitive football team, to be a team that's a perennial playoff contender, a team that can win a Super Bowl. And you know what? If we end up with a brand new stadium that's downtown Cleveland with a dome, I'm going to be happy. If we end up with a brand new Jimmy's World, and Brook Park, I'm going to be happy. If we end up with a renovated stadium right there where we currently are, I'm going to be happy. The reality of it is, man, I'm a Browns fan. I just want to see my team play football and win. Truthfully, man, they can come play at Collinwood High School football field if it's that damn serious. I don't give a damn. Truth be told, we'll all show up, right? Because we love the Browns. And that's all that matters at the end of the day. Y'all know what it is, man. I had to drop through, show y'all some love, man, with another episode of the Ultimate 216 show.